Okay, so today what we're going to do, we're going to talk about positive to commands, and then we're going to see how that we're going to use this in our ensayo corto that we will be writing today in class, or tomorrow, I guess. You should be watching this video tonight, Tuesday night. So we're going to go over how to use positive to commands. And remember, you should remember this, hopefully, from Spanish 2. With positive to commands, let's focus on the second bullet point right here. The second bullet point, we're going to be using positive to commands. And we form positive to commands by putting the verb in the to form present tense and dropping the S. Okay, so I have some examples here, like hablas would be habla, and comes would be come. You just put the verb in the to form present tense and you drop the S. Pides and pide. Okay, so what I want you to do right now, I would like you to get out a piece of paper and you're going to take some notes, and I want you to write down that two commands. You put the verb in the to form present tense and drop the S. And if you could write down two positive to commands, just some examples. I'm going to be asking you about these positive to commands tomorrow in class, so you can tell me what they are. Okay? Also, I'm going to show you some irregulars. Some irregulars are ones that we're going to be using a lot while we're writing. Okay? So let's move on to the next. And these are some irregular ones. These are irregular positive to commands. For example, if I want to say have in Spanish, I say ten. If I want to say venir, I say ven. If I want to say poner, I say pon. If I want to say ir, I say ve, ser, se, and hacer, has, and salir, sal. Oh, I'm sorry. So these are some irregular positive to commands. Have, come, put, go, say, has, and sal. So you're going to be using this in your ensayo corto. Okay? So what I want you to do, basically for this PowerPoint, you need to write down that the positive to commands are in the to form present tense. You drop the S, and these are all the irregulars, and you're going to use this in your ensayo corto. So I'm going to show you the ensayo corto that we're going to be using in class tomorrow. And tomorrow you'll get a copy of this, okay? So what you're going to be doing when you write your ensayo corto, you're going to talk about a time, and if you look down here at the bottom, in the letter, you're going to give advice over what food you're going to serve at a party. And then you're going to give instructions on how to prepare the food, like a recipe. You need to use at least 5 vocabulary words, the preterite and the imperfect. You can review your notes, and also if you want to use your Avancemos book in class tomorrow, over page 82, and it's in page 82 and 83, gives you some good explanations over the preterite and the imperfect. You can do that. So I just want to focus here more on the top here, and you need to talk about what type of food that you're going to serve and why. So let's just kind of brainstorm right now, and let's think of some times when you would use you think about some parties or some celebrations when you would want to talk about yummy food. See? Okay, here it is. So, for example, I would think a good celebration where you could talk about food would be a boda, or a wedding. Okay, so a wedding. Also, maybe a cumpleaños. A cumpleaños. Or a birthday could be a time when you're going to bring some food to the party. Or maybe you could focus on una fiesta de posible, no sé, graduación. Okay, a graduation party. Or maybe you could talk about a bautizo. A baptism. Or maybe you could talk about la Navidad, Christmas. So these are some ideas about what type of food you could serve at a party. Okay, so what we're going to do when we come to class, tomorrow, we are going to watch some authentic videos. We're going to see how they prepare chiles en nogada during El Cinco de Mayo, and also we're going to see a chef prepare comida italiana, or Italian food. And we're going to watch this, and this will help you hopefully give you some ideas of how to write a good recipe in Spanish. So, I want to think about also, it keeps popping up, I don't know why. I also want to think about some common verbs we would use in maybe our restaurant vocabulary. So these are some commonly used positive to commands that I could see you using in your story. You might use añade or add. You also might use mezcla, mix. You might also use cocina, cook. You might also use envuelve, stir. You might also use haz, make. You might also use pon, put. You might also use echa.
We do have a quick reminder. Dual credit classes, students with dual credit classes.
Okay, we'll continue. Mrs. Brown was talking. We're also going to use sigue, follow, or corta, cut. I could see you using this a lot when you're writing your ensayo corto about what type of food to serve at your celebration. So let's take a look at mine. Let's take a look at my example of the ensayo corto that I wrote. And hopefully this will help you write your own. Okay, so here's mine right here. And if you look at it, basically I start out my letter with Hola Margarita. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the letter that I wrote, and I think I'm just going to go over it a little bit in English. Oh, it keeps disappearing. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in English, and hopefully this will help you understand what we're doing. Okay, so when you write your letter, mine is almost 500 words. Yours is only going to be 200. You're going to talk about food that you're going to serve at a party. Why are you serving it? And then you're going to describe the food that you're serving, and you're going to make it like a recipe form. So let me just talk a little bit about it and tell you that why I did the things I did, and then hopefully this will help you in class tomorrow while you're writing your letter. So here it says, "Hi Margarita, I think that this is a good idea in order to have a party like a quinceañera for your birthday. I attended," assistir is a false cognate. I attended a quinceañera one time, and it was very fun. But these types of parties cost lots of money. Usually the party is like a wedding. Do you think that you would want a big party? So here I'm using the preterite and the imperfect. I used attended. I attended a quinceañera, and it was very fun. So I'm describing it here, so that's why I use the imperfect here. This is the imperfect tense. And right here I'm using the preterite because I just attended it once. So we talked a little bit about that last time. So I'm describing the quinceañera, and in this paragraph right here, I'm talking about the traditions. You don't have to go into much detail like this, but this will help you because tomorrow I'm going to ask you some questions over the traditions. So just to see if you're paying attention. Usually the girl wears a big dress with a tiara. Some of the traditions involve the tradition of the tacón alto and the doll. Usually the older sister gives her tacón alto or her high-heeled shoes to the girl that is celebrating the cumpleaños. Also, if the girl has a younger sister, she gives a glass doll. Sometimes the girl has a court of guys and girls, like the girl during a wedding in the United States. It is very elaborate, but fun also. Okay, so I'm just describing the traditions of the quinceañera. And now I'm going to talk about what type of food we're going to eat at the quinceañera. If you want to have a quinceañera, I think that you need to serve the typical food of Costa Rica, and it's called casado. This food will make the party very traditional. Here I'm using a future tense, a future verb, and it is irregular. This plate has seasoned chicken with many herbs like thyme and rosemary. You serve the chicken with gallo pinto or black beans and rice sometimes. And also cheese from a goat. It will be cool or chévere to have a refresco of mango or papaya because all the world drinks it in Costa Rica. Casado is very easy to prepare. These are the directions to prepare casado. I'm going to use a different pen so it's doesn't cover up the words. Throw, this is a positive to command. Throw. Positive to command. Throw two pieces of chicken on the olla, or olla would be the pot, with oil for around 5 minutes. Add a teaspoon of thyme and rosemary. Put it on the plate. Okay? Then, while the chicken is cooking, right here I'm using the present progressive tense. Okay, so remember we formed that by using estoy, estás, está, estamos and están, plus ando riendo. And I cook the rice in frijoles, or the rice and beans. Follow the directions from the box. In order to save time, buy cooked beans in a can. You'll be happy that you did it. I always do that when I do that because it saves time. Okay. So I'm going to move up here, and I'm going to erase it. Okay, I'll erase it really quick and move it up. There we go. Oh, it keeps going away. Okay. Okay. After the gallo pinto and chicken are ready, cut the cheese, that's how you laugh in Spanish, in half. Serve, this is a positive to command, so here's a positive to command, and here's a positive to command. Serve the food in the style of buffet. I think that you will be happy with the food, authentic food of Costa Rica. I hope that it helps, okay? So remember, when you write your letter, you're going to give advice over what food to serve and why. So we could talk about a cumpleaños, we could talk about a celebración en la casa, we could talk about a bautizo, we could talk about a cumpleaños. You're going to give instructions on how to prepare your favorite food, like a recipe, okay? So in the dialogue, or in the writing activity, you need to use at least 5 vocabulary words. These vocabulary words are on your Triangulo book. Okay, so they're in your Triangulo book dealing with food. Okay, so you're going to do that. And also, you're going to use a preterite tense. A preterite tense, notes from the preterite and the imperfect we took in class. And you can also use page 82 and 83 in your Avancemos book. 1 imperfect verb and 2 commands. Okay, and I'm going to grade it on these following points. Grammar, 200 words, mechanics, and vocabulary. So when you come to class, I want you to be prepared to start writing your ensayo corto. And also, I'm going to ask you when you come to class to give me some examples of positive 2 commands. And then I'm going to ask you some questions over the traditions of the quinceañera. Did you read this letter? And you can find this letter also in my big campus under the discussion. Under the discussion, and I posted I posted the ensayo corto there, so you can reread it if you need to. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to do that in class, and then also we're going to watch 2 videos, and it will show you a Spanish chef preparing chiles en nogada, and also preparing pasta italiana, and this will help you hopefully think of some ideas on something that you want to prepare for your party.